Buren County Quorum Court will come to order. All rise, please. We'll be opened in prayer by Virgil Lemmings, and then we'll be led in the Pledge of Allegiance by Justice John Bradford.
Let's pray. Father, we do thank you again for the opportunity to be here tonight. We thank you for what a beautiful day you gave us. Father, we thank you that we live in the United States of America, and thank you we live in Arkansas, and even more than that, we thank you we live in Buren County. And Father, we ask you tonight as we gather that you would be with us, that you give us wisdom, help us in all the decisions that are made. And Father, we thank you for all you do for us, how you bless us and care for us. And Father, we thank you for this time. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Be seated. Roll call.
Holt. Nikki. Here. Sarah. Here. Phillips. Hensley.
Here.
Bradford.
Here.
Tatum.
Here.
Lemmings.
Here.
Bass.
Here.
We have a quorum present. Next up is to approve the agenda, and I would entertain a motion to dispense with the audible transfer of the audible reading of the transfers.
Motion.
Second.
Here we have a motion by Sarah Brown and a second by Virgil Lemmings to dispense with the audible readings of the transfers. Also, Pam has a change that she needs to mention.
On the one that says voter registration collector, that is supposed to go into the collector's automation, 3001-104-3021.
Which one is that, Pam?
It should be your last one. It's for voter registration and collector.
Do I hear a motion to approve that change?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Virgil Lemmings and a second by Russell Hensley to approve that change. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Are there any other additions or changes to the agenda? Roll call vote to approve the agenda.
Nikki? Yes. Sarah? Yes. Hensley?
Yes.
Bradford?
Yes.
Tatum?
Yes.
Lemmings?
Yes.
Bass?
Yes.
Your copies of the minutes, the treasurer's report, the appropriations analysis. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve, Rick.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Justice Tatum, a second by Nikki Brown to approve the financials and the minutes. Is there any discussion on any of those? All those in favor of approving those signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next is county judge's comments. I have none. That brings us up to the county boards. And Donnie, Board of Governors.
Thank you. Good evening. We emailed you a report. I'll come out in your packet. Report on the hospital. All is good at the hospital. We have a balance of just a little over $229,000 in our millage account. We've been working on drainage issues since the flood. We've done a lot of things to protect the facility, and we're sending that back to our engineers just for an oversight. And if there's something else we need to do, they'll tell us that, but we want to do our due diligence and make sure the facility's in good shape and protected. And when we get to the end of that, I'll update you. Ozark Health's financial position, in accordance with the monthly reports you've got and their year-end audit, is very positive, and you can read those, and very good. Ozark Health has ordered and installing new surgical lighting. Building's 20 years old already, and so things wear out, new things come in, but they've done doing surgical lighting, surgical tables, instruments, and a machine to wash those, doing a new central suction system, replacing the nurse call system for the hospital and the nursing home. They bought several HVAC motors. These are big motors. Some of them are $2,000 or $3,000 a piece, and when we can get them, they buy them and put them on the shelf, because if we wait till we need one, hard to get. Everybody knows that, tough to get. So all of these costs were paid for by Ozark Health. No county funds were spent on any of these things. We're starting the bid preparation to paint the exterior of the building and make repairs. It's going to be a big deal and kind of a pretty long job for us, but we're going to bid that, and it'll be a shared cost between the county and Ozark Health to do that. It's going to run probably a rough estimate in the neighborhood of $200,000, probably. A lot of work to do. That's a big building, and so we're working on that. The roof's in really good shape. We have a yearly maintenance contract with a commercial roofing company. We inspect it every year, make repairs, and then if we have any problems, we take care of them immediately. Our low pitch roofs, sometimes in the next 10 years or so, will require some maintenance. The steep pitch roof, the galvalume roof, it'll be good for several years. The only thing we have any trouble with there is a plumbing boot or something that cracks, but pretty easy to take care of that one. Our Ozark Health and our board, we're inspecting concrete, the asphalt, the signage, the ground maintenance, a lot of things like that we're working on together. And as we get to those and put them together, I'll bring them to you and give you an update on them. But everything's really good at the facility, moving smooth. No issues that I know of from everything I've got. And if you've got questions on the report that come out in your package, please call me or call Mr. Deaton, and we'll answer any of your questions. Any tonight?
I do have one question.
Okay.
On number 5, it says the cost will be shared between the county and Ozark Health. Is there a percentage? How do you split?
We won't know till we bid it, but we're gonna try to pay as much of that cost as we can. We've got about $229,000 in our budget, and if we have to use all that, we will, because it's very important to get that took care of. We got flashing issues and just some repairs we got to make with the painting when we do it. And if we run out of money, then they'll have to step in and supplement that. And we won't use all of our money. We've got to keep a little bit in there just for emergencies. Our board wants to do that, so we'll do that, but I'm not sure of the percentage yet.
Do you have a minimum that you keep in your account?
Try to keep 10,000 in there.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Donnie, I appreciate this.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate you bringing that to us
Okay.
and
Well,
giving us this.
you've got a bigger report in your packet, so look it over and you know, if you got any questions on that, Paul.
Yeah, look it
Good? Thank you.
Thank you. Election Commission?
Hello, everybody. I haven't seen you guys in a long time. I'd like to introduce our new election commissioner, Bill Payne. Greg had too much to do, so he left. We would like to hire somebody out of our own budget to come and help us do some things with the election. So, because we pay the poll workers out of our budget. So that's what I'd like to ask, if we can pay somebody out of our budget to come in and help us do some things. Because all three of us are pretty new.
Do we have a copy of, I don't have a copy of that with me.
Of what?
Of your budget. Do you happen to have a copy of it?
Not with me.
Okay, okay.
I don't have it with
You
me.
wanna look at this? I've got
She might have a copy.
Point of order, we're being distracted, I'm sorry. Yes.
Do you have anyone in mind that you're gonna hire?
We have a couple people in mind that have done this kind of thing before and helped us a great deal in the past, before I got here. So,
Could you tell us who?
Jeff,
Jim? He's a good man.
What kind of time frame are you looking at?
maybe a couple hours a day, not 8 every day, just
How soon are you looking?
today.
Um,
Do you have my budget?
think,
Okay.
I think that I found it here, so I can pass it around. So is there is what you're saying is the money is already in the budget, like you have enough money in there?
For as little as we're gonna have them, yeah. I mean, I just need to, precincts are a little tough on the ballot, because you have split precincts, and it's kind of very, time
Well,
consuming.
this is all, it's just one copy of that one.
That was my question, is if you won't need any extra funds, it will all.
I hope not. We have to pay the poll workers, and that can get expensive, because we need about 20 poll workers.
So what exactly are you needing them to do,
Who?
Jeff?
Help with the precincts, help with the ballots. You're looking at 3 new people here.
You have precincts and precinct parts that you have to put into the portal to make the ballot. Those are pretty hard to do.
Yeah, and we did quite a bit today on the ballots.
No, there's just one copy of that.
But we're not talking, I mean, I'm not hiring, I don't wanna hire somebody for days on end, just come in and show us how to do a little this, and okay, thank you very much, and keep track of your hours. But we'd like a election coordinator, but that's a lot of money, so, but we'd like one. That being said,
So Jeff has experience in doing this?
Oh, Lord, yes. Big time.
With these machines.
Well, he's gonna be helping with the ballots, not the machines, yeah. We've been to 2 classes, 3 classes on this, and the poll workers, and ES&S class on the thing, and the guy's coming in on Monday to work on all the machines, because they all have to be changed. They all have to be upgraded, so.
I believe Jeff helped y'all last time, did he not? Last time.
Not when I was there.
Okay.
I don't know.
He helped me back in 2020.
It was before my
Maybe the
time.
precincts.
I was 12 days before the election hit, so everything else was already done when I got there. So,
Your total budget was 42,821, is that correct?
no, it's more than that.
Well, that's what it says. Total is 42.
It's not right. It's more like 68,000. Unless you're looking at something else. I can go over to the office and get it,
Your group total.
unless you have it in your office.
Total is 65.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all. When we have some for education, the last class you went to, we get no mileage or pay for that, but I'd have been there anyway. Because you gotta know the machines. So,
What machines are you using this time, the ones you used in the last election?
they're just gonna upgrade
Well,
them.
who done this test in the last election? On these tests, you were first, somebody did it.
It was already done, I have no idea. Did he work 2020, Jeff?
He helps me with the precincts in 2020.
Okay.
I've done the portal back then, but they're learning the portal and doing it this time, so,
And there's been changes on the portal, as you well know.
yeah. There's been a lot of changes
So-
on it.
I will say, I can respect where you're coming from. You're not asking for another person, you're just asking for some assistance.
Yeah,
We have someone who's more than capable, and you're asking to operate within your budget. And I don't think that's too much to ask, so that's just my commentary. It's up to you guys.
I will say that I agree, especially, I mean, with you stepping up, the last time and.
not knowing get from come here, yeah.
So I guess, Court, what we would need to do is get the consensus, because the money is already there.
Right.
We may have to take one line item into the red, but that's just a line item, the money's in the category. And then we can transfer it next quorum court to offset that.
So, yeah, on an as-needed basis, and you're not asking for another.
Well, we've got this one, I'm hoping, with the ballots that we're learning. Then you got the November election, and that's twice the size.
Right. And the clerk is, she's expressed how difficult it can be, so.
Yeah.
I don't think that's too much to ask.
So, Court, I would entertain a motion to allow them
I'll make a motion.
to hire this lady.
I got a couple more
You
questions.
betcha.
Is he paid by the hour?
I would, yeah. I told him it'd be by the hour.
Okay.
got it done.
Do you know how long you will be using it?
Until the precincts get done. And he's got some information looking at that now, because we put the precincts in, and we found out we had to split some, because the areas have been split off, so you've got one ballot's gonna have one number on it, but it's only gonna go to 10 people, because it's just that piece of land, but we have to have that done. And we've already put all the candidates in with some of that stuff today, so the precincts is not easy. I just looked and went, ugh.
Because there was the redistricting.
Is that what caused this, the redistricting?
Well, part of it.
No,
Part of it.
okay, part of it.
Yeah, little piece of it, but
It's always been this way.
it's always split.
Judge, can we get copies of the budget? We got one copy here. for everybody.
Absolutely.
It's not in our budget details, so.
Yes, Warren, would you care to go make some?
I can go make copies.
I've got it here if you wanna make some copies.
Well, I think that we all appreciate what you do, and obviously it is super important that we have a functional, good election and that it is done correctly.
Yeah, and we're working real hard with the ES&S, and I've got her on the phone all the time. How do you do this? What do we do? What is it? So we're all kind of learning. Plus, they upgraded a lot of the equipment, so now that's even different, so.
Around, yeah.
Is there anything else?
I think also, just to ask, to try to stay within the confines of your budget,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure you
Hopefully.
anyway, but
Yeah.
we just.
And we've put in a lot of hours already.
Well, that also, on the other side of that coin, nobody expects you to work for free, because time is precious, so.
Well, we've got 2 elections this year, so that makes it a little different, too.
At least.
Yeah, at least. So, but that's it for me. I don't know if Lisa or Bill have anything to add or say.
I'm still learning.
Well,
And thank
It's
you.
pretty deep.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot to learn.
Thank you.
Bill, thank you for stepping
My
up.
pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, so we will,
He hasn't committed something yet.
Esther, did you get all your questions?
Oh, do you have some more?
No.
Okay.
I didn't know if I cut him off.
Well, that's.
she'll bring that back, and before we ask for a vote, we'll have those back in here, and we'll come back to that. We're still in the, are there any department heads that would like to address the court? Or elected officials, or court, do you have any questions for any of the officials that are here? That is it with our old business. We'll wait until we get those reports so we can vote on this before we move on to our new business.
We already have the motion, we just need a second.
I'll second.
I would, the only thing that I would think, we need a good, office there in the election commission. And I would hate to have them run short, and then we go through what we've been through in the past. That's my only problem. Yeah, kinda like, what's it costing if they've got the money in there, but I don't want them to have to come back and ask more for their work, and then we go through what we have in the past.
And we can always transfer money from, if we don't use all the part-time money for voter registration, for early voting, we can transfer some of that into their part-time for their poll workers.
And that's fine and well, I just want them to have discussions that we've had in the past. I want them to be taken care of.
We're pretty much sure we're gonna have 3 elections, so that's just knowing the cost of 3
Yeah.
elections is gonna be a lot, when it involves what they have to do for 3 of
When
them.
I was working elections, the election commission budget was way higher than this. That's my concern. I mean, the election commission has to have money to work, and I don't want them to run short and come back and beat the walls to.
Yeah. Well, I think that if we keep up with it, looking at it monthly,
Yeah.
when they get their budget, And that way it doesn't build up and get out of control. We look at it as we go.
So y'all got, we got $20,000 budget for salary. Am I tracking right here? Right. So how much we gonna have to pay, poll workers? I mean, on probably 3 elections.
We're gonna have to, that's one thing that we are gonna have to look at, is what
Yes,
we're gonna have to
that's
pay,
not a-
and we'll have to fit it into the budget, but we have to.
But again, we have 3 elections this year, which we don't normally have, we usually have 1. We'll keep track of it on a weekly basis, and I can let her know, Pam know, like, okay, it's this much, we can just keep track of it.
By the second or third election, we would have to put more money in there for salaries anyway. And Jeff's not gonna cost, probably not even $100.
Yeah. He's working full-time, so he just comes in and, you know, today's the first time. Wait, I didn't know.
Did you hear that comment, Esther?
I'm sorry.
That's all right. Would you care to repeat what you just said about what the cost would probably be?
Well, by the end of the year, we'll have to put more in salaries anyway, especially if we have 3 elections.
Yes.
The runoff.
$20,000 would be it.
Right.
No.
Would you care to repeat what you said Jeff would probably cost?
Oh, Jeff will probably not even cost $100. I mean, we just need him just to show us the precinct parts and stuff, to help a little bit with that, and that's it. The rest of it's already done.
The biggest
We worked a
problem,
lot.
the biggest problem we have is that we are training really hard. We've got somebody else that's just starting to train, and we wanna have this done right. We wanna have a good election. And the only way we can is to make sure we have all the information we need. And so if we have somebody who already has that knowledge, we wanna take advantage of that and make sure we do the right thing.
I don't think anybody's missing, we just wanna make sure that.
Well, and to be honest
Funds
with
are
you,
there.
I'll just show my card, $100, when I hear it's $100, I mean, I didn't know what we were talking about. I mean, to me, $100 is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm not holding you to that and being like, it has to be $100, but, you know.
He hasn't given me an exact price, but like I said, we're talking about a couple hours here, a couple hours there. We're not- yeah. He works full-time, so.
Probably what's minimum, $11? $11.25, something like that. I mean, it's not gonna cost much at all.
Yeah. Yeah, some lights is coming on here, Russell.
I'd like to.
12 years ago, we had, in Bradley Township, now when we grew up, we had one ballot that, one ballot, one person's ballot. One person's ballot wasn't not like any other ballot in the county. So we got 27 precincts, so I spread it out. We just, you're right, we did get redistricting. So I changed all that. So you get it like that, you know, it could be just like one ballot in that precinct, Bradley, Walker Township, or 2. And it's gotta be all redone, because those lines have changed a little bit. Am I confusing myself too? But that's the way it works out.
It's a lot of work.
The what?
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, that'd be confusing. I mean,
I think as long
Take it out.
as you just stay in touch, and I think it'll be fine.
yeah.
Do I hear a motion to agree with what they're presenting? Without any additional help?
I make a motion.
Okay.
We have a motion in a second.
Okay,
We
and
need a vote.
so we've already done that. Wow, okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
I would like to commend you, Pam, on Brenda. She is an excellent, she's really sweet. She is really good.
She tries really hard.
She's very helpful.
Good. I'll tell her you said that.
Thank you. Moving on to new business. Our first ordinance is sponsored by Justice Nikki Brown.
Be it enacted by the Quorum Court of the County of Van Buren, State of Arkansas, an appropriation ordinance to be entitled, an appropriation ordinance to re-appropriate $125,993 into the library budget number 3008-600. Whereas a pest control bill was paid from the library fund number 3008-600 that should have been paid from the law library fund number 6009-600. And whereas the money will need to be transferred and appropriated accordingly. Now therefore be it ordained by the Quorum Court of Van Buren County, Arkansas, that $125.93 be transferred and appropriated from fund number 6009-600-2024 maintenance service contracts to fund number 3008-600-3009 other professional services. I move we approve the agreement.
Second.
We have a motion by Nikki Brown, and I think Russell beat you to the second. So second by Russell Hensley. Any discussion? I'll call a vote.
Well, I guess we're gonna do that first. Nikki,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Hensley,
Yes.
Bradford,
Yes.
Tatum.
Yes.
Lemmings.
Yes.
Bass.
Yes.
O 2022-11.
Our next ordinance is sponsored by Justice Hensley.
Being enacted by the Quorum Court of the County of Van Buren, State of Arkansas, an appropriation ordinance to be entitled, an appropriation ordinance to amend the original appropriation ordinance number 2021-51, the annual operating budget for 2022, to increase the projected revenue and appropriate $5,532.40 into the county collector's budget, number 1,104, for insurance purposes, whereas $5,532.40 is to be appropriated into the collector's budget to pay for the health, dental, and vision insurance for a retired employee for a total of 8 months, and whereas this money will be refunded to the county monthly by the retired employee. Now therefore it be ordained by the Quorum Court of Van Buren County, Arkansas, that Section 1, $5,532.40 be appropriated into the collector's budget, number 1,104, 1,009, health insurance. I move to approve this as written.
Second.
We have a motion by Justice Hensley and a second by Virgil Lemmings to adopt this ordinance. Any discussion?
Yes, I want to explain that. I have some questions here. What is this about? Are we furnishing insurance for the retired?
No, they pay it, but we have to pay it out of our budget, and she reimburses them.
But she gets it on the county, right?
Because she's retired. Yeah.
Who is this?
Lisa Nunley.
Is that legal?
Yes. Yeah, it goes through our insurance.
And then I'd like to sign up for some insurance.
Was this like
For how
a,
long
I
is
think you
that?
can only do it for like 18 months.
She's been out
Well,
long, so-
retired is different. Because she had been here so long, she can do it indefinitely.
Oh, okay.
that's what I
And-
asked.
But she's
it's
only gonna
just-
do it 8 months.
Yeah, and she'll be able to go on Medicare or paid or whatever it is at that time, but, without having it in the budget, it looks like mine is going in the red, even though she's reimbursing it, and that's why I wanted it added in.
But the county's not out anything.
Well, I understand that, but she gets it at the county rate. See, I can't get insurance. I can't get insurance, it's so high. But if anybody could do that, I'd like to sign up.
You might
And what
talk
would
to
be the
our-
difference?
You might talk to our insurance people.
Was this like a was this like a policy, maybe like a personnel policy or something?
Oh, there's gotta be some stipulations of how
It
long
seems
you
like
work
if
for
it-
the county or.
If it wasn't legal, they would catch it in an audit. I mean, has it been
Yeah,
doing it for a long time? We've been doing this
Oh,
for.
I'm not saying it's
Yeah,
not
it's-
legal, but.
We've been doing this ever
Is
since.
it on the program?
No, I don't blame you.
I know some companies have offered, insurance for life or whatever, even after you retire.
I'm not conscious of any, this ever happened, I've never known anybody doing this all the years I was in.
Right. I just wondered if it was one of those things. For instance, Petty General Electric used to do that with their employees, but then, so there's some that are grandfathered in, but they don't do it anymore. I just wondered if it was that kind of thing.
How long have we been doing this? How long has she been out?
This is the 4th year.
4th year.
Well, let's help Esther out here. If he's on the Quorum Court, he's eligible for the vision and dental, right? It was offered to me.
Oh, yeah, you can
I didn't know we
take
were
out
eligible
dental,
for either.
vision, health.
Yeah.
It'll come out of your check.
Oh, sure,
but,
I
yeah, you
understand
can-
that.
You can take that out being on court.
Well, looks like he could get the medical too now. I'm just saying, looks like it.
But that, I'm legitimately asking at this point, like, does that, how is she able to do that? Was
I
that-
think it had to do with how long she was in office, that, like you said, it was kind of grandfathered in. And
Is this
it's
through
more
our
or less
insurance
a-
company or is this through the state?
AAC told me, because I thought it was only for 18 months, but AAC said because she retired after so many years that she could do that. It's more or less a COBRA. And she reimburses the county for the,
I guess what I'm saying
premiums.
is, if it's offered to her, I'm sure that they wouldn't just offer it to, I bet there's more people eligible than even realize that they are. So you should totally check.
Yeah, I mean, if she's checking the
Yeah.
AAC and they're saying it's all legal, then I'm good with it.
Yeah.
How it would show up on audit.
Mm-hmm.
Any other discussion?
Good question.
Roll call vote.
Nikki,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Hensley.
Yes.
Bradford.
Yes.
Tatum.
Yes.
Lemmings.
Yes.
Bass.
Yes.
O 2022-12.
Do I hear a motion to approve the transfers?
Second.
A motion by Justice Tatum and a second by Nikki Brown to approve the transfers. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the transfers signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Brings us up to announcements and public comments. Is there anyone from the floor who would wish to address the court? You have 3 minutes, come on up.
All right, I got a question. I missed 1 or 2 meetings, and I called last Friday to get on the docket to speak, and I was told there was some rule changes made in the January meeting. And I'm looking at the ordinance, because Pam sent me a copy of it. It's ordinance 0-2022-05, an emergency ordinance setting rules of procedure for the Van Buren County Quorum Court. My question to y'all is, why did we make a change to this in what was wrong with our old system? And I called Sarah to ask her about this. She had some questions about it. And then she told me that this ruling came down from the Arkansas Association of Counties. Now, I called them, and they said to me, their lawyer that I talked to told me, basically he said, we do not send them things that we want them to do. If they call us, we give them suggestions on things to do. So my question to y'all all is, did y'all write this yourselves, or did this come from them and you just accept what they wrote?
No, based on a model policy, so a lot of times if you're looking for a policy on something, they'll provide you with a model policy.
Right.
I sponsored that.
Yeah, I see your
Yes.
name up there.
So is there a particular, really, it's just a way of putting, I mean, I think, used to it was a required that
Mhm.
counties do that.
Right.
I don't think it's a requirement
Right.
anymore. But I would rather have a policy on how we run so that
Right.
everybody is in, and if we have an issue that comes up in that say Sarah and I disagree on, we can always amend it. But to me, I'm a policy girl, I like a procedure, so everybody knows the rules going in. And I'll give you an example of something that was important to me. I feel if I sponsor an ordinance, I put a lot of work into that, and if the 11th hour something comes up where I think I need to pull that,
Right.
if my name's on it, I should be able to pull it at any time before that meeting. So we didn't have that rule in place before. So then we could have an hour conversation about something that was a moot point by then. So that was one thing to me that was really important.
In Article 5 agenda, it says that, I guess if I had something that I want to propose to the whole court to make changes on something, that I have to go to the county judge and submit it in writing. Is that,
I think that was.
or am I misunderstanding
I don't have that in
that?
front of me, but I think that was as far as an ordinance that a JP proposed.
Okay, and it says, once the proposed items have been submitted to the county judge, his or her designee shall assign them to appropriate committee.
Okay, so if there is if there's an ordinance proposed, then how that works is an ordinance has to have a sponsor, or it doesn't get on the
Right,
agenda.
right,
And so he kind of knows usually
Right.
if someone would be interested, so he
Right.
calls us, but he can't just, I don't want my name on something that I don't believe in at all, and then I've
Right.
got to go through a process to pull it. Does that make
Just
sense?
one more question, and I'll sit down.
Okay.
I notice we call it an ordinance. Now, I'd look up the meaning of ordinance. That particularly pertains to municipalities. If you really want to get to the definition of an ordinance, I don't know, you're a lawyer, you might know too. So I just was kind of wondering why we call it an ordinance, because we're a county, countywide.
Ever since I've been on the Quorum Court, we've done everything by ordinance or resolution.
right.
So what would be the alternative to that?
Well, proclamation.
No. An ordinance is local law, resolution is opinion. And I've got a law book in there about that thick that I'll show those to you if you'd like to see
Yeah,
them.
sure.
Go to, we'll just Google it. Google Arkansas Amendment
Well, I don't
55.
Google, I DuckDuckGo everything.
Well,
trust
Arkansas
Google.
Amendment 55 that
Right.
governs Arkansas County.
Right.
And also Section 14.
Mhm.
Look at 1414 dash.
Right.
And really everything in 1414 dash. And it's going to
Right.
go from 01 to, I
Right.
believe, 1200 or 1500. All that governs the county. And it specifically talks about resolutions, ordinances,
Right,
and
right.
such things.
Okay, thank you.
And I would like to add that the procedural ordinance, it governs the government. It governs how this body operates. And it actually broadened who can approach the Quorum Court, because absolutely anyone can approach it for any reason during the public comments portion, instead of having to go and jump through hoops. There's nothing wrong with order, organization, productivity, and efficiency. And I think this whole body prides itself in how efficient our Quorum Courts have become. And I appreciate you for that. And it also provides a uniform means of conducting business from meeting to meeting, from this month to the next month. So things are very uniform, and it provides structure, and structure is good. Any other public comments?
I'd like to make a quick one. The 2020 fraud in the election process has my concern on the voting machines. It seems to me we should go back to paper ballot in hand counting, maybe.
That would be something to take to our state legislators.
There is a paper ballot that goes along with the machines.
I don't mean like just as a choice, I mean as a, you know.
No, it's not a choice. There's a paper ballot that is put
In a
back
machine.
into the machine to calculate it. And you see that paper ballot before it goes in there. And it's still there always.
If it's hooked to the
counted.
internet, the ones that are hooked to the internet is where the cheating
No, well,
occurs.
the thing is you've always got the paper ballot to back it up. Always. It doesn't go away. The paper ballots are kept.
Well, there was fraud in every state, right? So I'm just trying to address that before the election.
And our election computer is not hooked up to the internet.
Neither is the machines that you
No.
put your card into, they're not.
Just the counters is fine, I'm sure that's a speedier process, but the ones that are sent to China's gotta stop, right?
There is more a chance of fraud in paper ballots than there is in these. I know because I was clerk during those years, we had to stay all night counting paper ballots.
But we knew the next day, right? We didn't wait 2 months to find out who won.
Well, we know before 10 o'clock now. We know what the election is before 10 o'clock.
So it's a lot more efficient.
Paper ballots can be tampered with, bringing it from the polling site here. And you can't do that on the machine. It's so much more safer with the way we do it. Well, you got your opinion, but, I know I went through that paper ballot for years. That's the only way we had it.
Thank you. Any other public comments? I think Mr. Pasternak, thank you for yours, and Mr. Rhoda, thank you for your comments.
How do we address that? I mean, the state, go to the state, to the Secretary of State's office?
Yes, sir.
Is that where that starts at?
We're getting a new one.
Any other comments? Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Rosa Williams and a second by Sarah Brown. Any opposed?